Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go through and do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'm going to share my financial opinions as we go. And if you need help with anything more, check out finding-value.com, where I dive deeper into these sectors, into the individual companies, and more freely share my opinions about everything. So let's dive in. Let's take a look and see what's going on today. So we've got the DXY here, and to me, if we take a little bit longer viewpoint of this, it still looks really bullish. We've got a nice lead-in pattern. This can be basically a flag pattern that's broken to the upside and is still flagging on top of it. So to me, this looks like we could potentially go higher in the medium term. Medium term being, measured in weeks and months. When we zoom in, we got a little bit of selling pressure. Maybe we roll over and do a retest before heading higher, or small little pullback to get that stair-step pattern that I'm used to seeing. But it still looks pretty bullish to me on the little bit longer time frame than the really short time frame. So I do think that the DXY could head higher over time based off of these patterns that I'm seeing. We've got the 2-year yield. And really what's, I'll say, swaying my opinions in the short term here is the strength that we saw on this big yield move day there. We're not getting as strong of a pullback, so it makes me think that we are still going to move up, or at least sideways or higher in yields on the 2-year. And that also applies to the 10-year as well. It all started with this move here on Friday. Yep, we do have a pullback day today, and we could pull a little bit back in the short term. And I'd like to see what that pullback looks like. If we don't have a lot of follow through and it's just a couple of small days, I think we're going to work our way on up in the medium term. And that goes and applies for all these. Now, we did get a little bit stronger selling pressure on the 30-year here, and we could pull back a little bit more in the short term. And we have to see what that pullback looks like. If it extends itself with huge down candlesticks, then yeah, we're going lower. But if it just kind of sits in here with small little candlesticks, I think we could potentially turn and head on higher. The TYX-TNX ratio, it's still very low, didn't really move too much today, and we're still compressed at a very low level, inverted at the bottom, where gold generally works its way on up slowly and then works its way on up as the yield curve uninverts. TLT up quite a bit today, about 1% gain, not a bad move, but we're still underneath resistance. And again, guys, there is a battle going between the yields going up and yields going down, or bond prices up or down. Buyers and sellers are kind of dueling it out here. We're going back and forth. Who's going to win? Difficult to say, and I think we'll get some clues looking at some of the commodity charts. Crude oil's the big one that I kind of look at, and that might give us a little bit more clues on the direction of yields, because yields generally follow whatever oil does. If oil goes up, yields generally go up. If oil goes down, yields generally go down. But right now, it looks okay for bond prices, and it looks like it could still work its way on up. So we've got conflicting data there with the yield charts versus the bond price charts. And maybe we come up and roll over, and that's something that we're going to have to watch and see. And remember, these are all yields are what price basically all assets in the market, in my opinion. That's why we're looking at them. And then the 2 and 10, we're inverting again today, and we're still at very inverted levels, and we've been up here for a pretty long time. So, yep, higher for longer. It's definitely been the case. So gold's up 6.2 dollars per ounce, and this does not look bullish to me. We've got big selling pressure, a consolidation, which is kind of like a flag pattern, a break of the consolidation lower, and a weak bounce. Makes me think we're going to roll over and go lower. This is another indication of why I think yields could go higher in the medium term, measured in weeks or months, because in the short term, gold looks a little bit weak, and gold likes weaker yields. It likes an uninversion of the yield curve. It likes all those things. And this is set up to go, in my opinion, lower in the short term. Silver also selling off a little bit, down 1.8%. Some people are putting, these flag patterns on this, saying it's a flag pattern. It very well could be. But we still have this big kind of selling pressure move with no real answer to it. So short term, I still think we could potentially go lower when looking at gold and silver. But on the medium term, I do think this is still well positioned with this breakout of the downtrend to go higher. So I'm both bullish and bearish at the same time on different time frames. So I still think there's a possibility that we can get a little bit more short-term weakness before that move. Platinum also is exhibiting short-term weakness, more with a bearish engulfing pattern today. Momentum's to the downside. I just don't see any turning point yet. Usually when they turn, you'll get a big move lower like this, and then it'll base out for a little bit and then work its way on up again. And it just cycles back and forth between that basing kind of pattern and the movements up and down. Right now, we've got some momentum heading to the downside, and I don't think that's been worked off. It also makes me think that yields could still head a little bit higher here. And then palladium was down, but we're back to support for palladium, and we'll see if that support holds. And again, I think palladium is out of cycle, and I'm warming up to it. I don't know if it's bottomed yet, so I'm kind of just waiting to see what this thing does, and it very well could bottom here at any second at this support region there. A lot of the times you get a bounce, and then you come all the way up, and then you come back and retest that bottom, which is basically what it's doing. And we'll see if it can gain some momentum here over the next trading sessions. XE to gold ratio, it's pulling back just a little bit, down 1.3%, but we're still above that line for happiness. That line for happiness that has been broken, and I still think this could easily go higher over time. So it's been broken, and I'm going to remain bullish until it basically gets nullified, which I highly doubt it will. I think we're going to go on up. At worst, I think we'll go sideways and just trade sideways. At worst, we've got GDX down just a little bit, coming in there, and we're at support. Are we squeezing up here where I'm just going to draw this in like this? Are we kind of squeezing up into a corner here? Potentially we could be, but we're at support. And the big trend line that I'm talking about support is this guy going across here. That's where we're at. But we do have a little bit of downside momentum. GDXJ, same thing. We've got some downside momentum and not a strong bounce yet. So there could be some further selling pressure in the short term. And then SILJ is also exhibiting similar characteristics to both of those, and it's coming back to support. And this one has broken out of its pattern here to the upside, and we're just coming back to a support level. And we'll see if that support level holds. But the momentum is to the downside in the short term. Crude oil doesn't look too bad. I consider this a small bloody nose, which very well could be a continuation pattern to the upside. We've got a bullish engulfing here, and we got that stair step pattern, and we'll see if we can break here. That's the big move, 81.50. We want to get above it. We want to close above it and stay above it. If we do that, it's a bigger pattern that we're breaking. Basically, it's a huge flag pattern that we've gone into. And if we break, I think we could see substantial upside. And if we get that break and we see substantial upside, that then leads me to believe that interest rates will go up. So I'm kind of interconnecting all of these things together. TTF nat gas just moving sideways, but still looks like it's in a bullish formation. Whenever you get these things bottomed, they go up and then they just stair step. So that still looks like a bullish formation for TTF gas, and we hit that support level of the breakout here, looking at it from a longer term perspective. Nat gas in America, absolutely ripping it up 8% today, and we're breaking away from that resistance level that I was talking about. This is the resistance area. We came up, paused just a little bit, and we are ripping. This could have a long way to go. Natural gas is a very volatile commodity, and if you're part of the website, you know which companies I like, and hopefully natural gas keeps ripping. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, very similar setup to oil. We've got a inverted head and shoulders, I think. We are up against that neckline. That's this line going across here. And we're squeezing up on the neckline, using it as support. And now we are close to a breakout to the upside. So I think that XOP looks excellent here. And if oil does break out of its pattern, we're probably going to see a pretty big move in XOP and anything energy related. OIH is also energy, and this is back to support. This is what it looks like. We've got that nice kind of stair step pattern that I look for. And I think we're just squeezing here before a potential move higher. And that's, again, that's predicated off oil breaking out of its pattern here. And we've got a little bloody nose today, just a small down candlestick next to a large green candlestick. And I'd like to see some follow through tomorrow to kind of solidify that stair step pattern and the green army coming into play here. A lot of selling pressure occurring in the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. We do have a hammer candlestick, which is always a good thing. We could be getting some support here with that wick at the bottom. So if we look at a short-term price chart, you can see that we came off that bottom strong towards the end of the day. Maybe that momentum will continue into tomorrow, but we'll see if we can get this, but sideways to maybe slightly higher here, where we start to bottom out. Fingers crossed. URA also seeing some selling pressure. The momentum is still down, but we need to see buyers come in here at some of these support levels to hold it. And there's that support level going across here that I'm talking about. You'd like to see that hold. If it doesn't hold, we could see further downside. URNM also getting some selling pressure, kind of losing that support level going across here. We do have a ton of support here, though, all underneath here. Lots of trading has occurred there, which will act as support. So we should be looking for what kind of follow through we have over the next few days. And that will also apply to URNJ. We're right at that strong support level. We kind of went through it, but sometimes these get these false little breakouts and then they rip to the upside. So I wouldn't view this as negative. It is a pullback in a bull market, in my opinion. And I'm going to remain long. And I'll be honest, we're getting to a level that I'm going to be considered buying more here. Definitely. TAN up 1.21%. We're underneath that strong resistance line. The resistance line runs across of this double bottom. There's that resistance line, and we're right underneath it. We're going to try to take a run at it here. We do have a bullish engulfing yesterday, this guy there, and that's going to give us a little bit of runway to see if we can punch through. We've got copper, and again, I think rates are going to impact all of these. If rates go up, I think we could continue lower, but copper, momentum's to the downside, and we'll have to see if we can turn here. We've got COPX down 2.4%. We're getting to some support level through here, but the momentum's down. We got to turn that around. Lithium also heading a little bit lower. We got to turn that thing around. It does not like increasing interest rates. And with oil looking pretty strong here, we'll see where this goes, depending on interest rates. And REMX is doing the same thing. REMX has broken this pattern, which makes me think we could see further downside. SPX working its way on up, surprisingly, continues to work its way on up 0.3%. And it looks okay. We've got NASDAQ also up 0.88%, looking a little bit better here. A pretty strong day the past week or so. Pretty strong days it's been putting down, and big green candlesticks, surprisingly. Russell 2000 is down a little bit, down 0.36, and we are still in this big consolidation pattern, kind of meandering sideways. We've got the regional banking ETF down 0.37%. And again, there could be problems in regional banks. I was looking a little bit into that. And maybe they're getting bailout money. That's what's causing gold to rocket up. But it's just been trading sideways here. We've got emerging markets also trading sideways. It does like lower yields, lower dollar. Are we going to get that? Difficult to say, but it's right against support. And that's where we're at. We're right on support, and that's generally been a good spot to be looking for an entry point. So yeah, emerging markets doesn't look too bad. XHB down a little bit today, down 0.8. And we've got a bullish engulfing yesterday, so it still looks good. Looks like it could try to turn here. Sideways or maybe slightly higher if it can get some momentum going. But if rates do go up, it's not more than likely it's not going to like rates going up. Moo, I do like where Moo is located. This is a great, I think it's a great spot looking right now. Back to support. We have broken to the upside of that falling wedge. Doing a retest. I don't think it looks that bad. But again, we've seen Moo go up with lower yields, and sometimes it catches a little bit of a headwind when rates go up. But it looks good right where it's at. It's a hammer candlestick right above support of the cross trend line and the horizontal. So not a bad spot to be looking. Iron ore, putting in that double bottom, still working on it, I think. And we are above that support level right underneath us. We've got nickel down 1.4, 1.5%. And is this putting in like an accumulation cylinder? We'll find out. We'll see if we get some support somewhere here. But again, base metals don't like increasing interest rates. So, watch those rates and see how it impacts iron ore, nickel, and copper and stuff. Aluminum also very impacted by rates going up, and we are seeing a pullback. So that's also something to keep in mind. So we're getting a little bit of weakness in the base metals across the board. Baltic Dry Index looking okay. It's holding on, moving sideways, still above a bunch of support. Newcastle coal futures. I do think if rates go up, this will go up too eventually, and it'll most likely follow where natural gas goes, probably TTF gas. So I think this still looks decent. Very good entry point in coal down here. And if for the patient investor, we might have a little bit more grind and sideways to go. Stage 1, stage 2, breakout, retest. That's generally the spot I look for entry points and potential companies for the bull market that's coming up. Definitely an energy. Bitcoin losing some dollars here, getting some stronger selling pressure here. So we sold off today. We are still above all this support, so it doesn't look horrible. It's still holding on, and we'll see if support holds. Ethereum also getting some selling pressure. But the patterns are all still there. We do have these wicks on the bottom, so it's like it's getting some support, even though it's falling down. It's at least bouncing a little bit as it comes on down, and that is also coming down more slowly than how it broke out. So you could say that this is some sort of like flag pattern, pennant formation. It's similar to that. You can't really see it as a chart, but that's what all of these are. They're just big flags, and then it consolidates sideways. It's the same thing here, and then just consolidates sideways. It's that stair-step pattern that I look for. SMCI down 2.45, but again, guys, we're not seeing a ton of selling pressure here. The red candlesticks are pretty small, pretty mute, still looks good. And then Nvidia's got that weird day yesterday, but just down a little bit today. See here, it's down 0.72%, and we're just kind of working our way sideways here for Nvidia. But that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. I will be releasing a midweek update on the website here shortly. I'll probably release it a little bit earlier than normal just because there's something going on tomorrow that I just can't do it. But yeah, hopefully you guys are hanging in there, and this commodity bull market will keep rolling. So we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.